Welcome to Wisdom Teachings with Dr. Amanda Love. Today's topic, bound and unbound energy. Bound and unbound energy. We have all heard that everything is energy. It is one of those things that we know conceptually, but perhaps haven't given much contemplation as to what it actually means and how it impacts our lives. You might be someone who feels that the world of energy is a bit elusive to you as it is framed in healing and spiritual contexts. For example, maybe you feel like you've never felt energy before, or at least have never experienced it like other people seem to experience it. Yet if everything is energy, then you've undeniably experienced it. Science tells us energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. This means that matter and energy are interchangeable. They are different expressions of the same thing. So if you've experienced mass, which again you clearly have, then you've experienced energy. You may then wonder why the experience of energy seems to be different for you than it appears to be for others. This brings us to the conversation of bound and unbound energy. Bound energy is energy that is organized into a form. Forms are both gross or dense in nature, meaning they are physical, say like our human body or buildings and mountains. Pretty much everything we consider to be an object is a dense form. Forms are also subtle in nature, meaning emotions, thoughts, beliefs, ideas, and concepts are all forms as well. If there was no binding of energy, there would be no forms at all. This means we wouldn't be able to create anything, including a thought, idea, emotion, or any kind of physical form. When there is no form to energy, meaning it is not organized into a specific configuration, then this is what is called unbound energy. You can also think of unbound energy as the energy of potential. It is what is available to create or manifest with and from. So what organizes unbound energy into forms? The answer is universal intelligence. Other terms for this are pure awareness or being. That which is, knows, bees, and exists is full of all of the information that creates this entire universe that we experience, including what we experience as ourselves. Sometimes people will refer to this universal intelligence as the codes for creation, the blueprint for the universe, or God Goddess. This is why meditators seek to empty their minds out of all concepts, including thoughts, feelings, and sensations, because as we empty our minds out of all of the content, we can notice the pure awareness or pure being that remains. Even though initially this may seem boring for some, or like nothing is happening is the gateway into the infinite source of intelligence that creates this universe, and beyond that, what you actually are. To recap, bound energy is that which is organized into both subtle and dense forms. Unbound energy is the energy of potential, which is available for forms to be created out of. And that which organizes or binds energy is called universal intelligence. Without the binding of energy, we would have no manifest creation. Creation, if you will, would just be pure being. There would be no substance to it like we currently experience. There would be no objects, other people, ideas, thoughts, feelings, sensations, or anything at all. It would just be being. Many people say that creation was created so that this original being could experience itself through different expressions of itself. This is where oneness or primordial essence begins and ends, in pure being, in itself. Everything is born out of being and will eventually return back to being. It is also often said that everything is an illusion, meaning that all of creation and the forms that get created mask or hide that which is their true nature. This is why, if we focus solely on the form, like our human mind mostly does, but we don't see through the form to the essence of what it is made of, then we are lost in the illusion, so to speak. Let us revisit bound energy again and make some distinctions. Bound energy can have varying degrees of boundness inside of its forms. For example, if your spinal cord is very tense and tight, it contains more bound energy than a relaxed spinal cord does. This means that your experience of your physical body will seem more dense and solid if your spinal cord is taut than if it is relaxed. Within subtler forms such as thoughts or emotions, some thoughts are more binding than other thoughts. Same is true for emotions. It is quite obvious that emotions such as joy and giddiness feel lighter than anger or sadness. Joy and giddiness contain more unbound energy, and therefore we feel freer when we feel those emotions than we do when we feel anger or sadness. It is also obvious that the thought, the world and everyone is out to get me, feels more constricting and defeating than the thought, everything is working out for me. Again, there is more energy available in the second thought, more possibility and more light. The degree to which we pay attention to these nuances of how we operate will determine the energy and reality we experience. We don't experience reality, but rather we experience our interpretation of reality based on the available amount of energy we have access to. If you aren't experiencing the reality or the energy state that you want to, it's not because it's reality's fault. It's simply due to how and where you place your focus. The more unbound we become, the more we feel what we think of as energy, both in physical and spiritual ways. There is no such thing as a person that doesn't feel energy. We are all experiencing energy all of the time. It's simply a matter of how bound or unbound it is. Doing practices such as meditation give us an opportunity to completely rest in the unbound nature of the original self, which is limitless, infinite, and all-knowing. Then, doing the inner work of feeling our heavier emotions rather than avoiding them or pretending they don't exist, so that we can unbind the energy of them, and shifting our focus from our denser thoughts to thoughts that feel lighter, allows us to experience those more spiritually free states. What we call more spiritual is simply less bound. Those states are even more bright with light and energy, and it is where we feel the most free. In some way, everyone is seeking this, the return to our original state, perfect, whole, and free.